Hey everybody, welcome back to another casting game here on Age of Bison. This is actually the second attempt to get this game going, and I have quite the banger going for you guys here. So, the CEO of AoE 3 on the server, absolute just mad lad playing civs like the Dutch and Russia on the ladder day in, day out. Around 1600 versus Kastan, a long-time Brit player. I know it's been a while since I've casted. Like I said, I've had that changes my life, so I haven't had as much time. And then the last time I recorded this, OBS decided to update itself while I was going to check on my kid and reset my mic audio. So I have like the silent film version of this before, but it had been, what, like 2 or 3 weeks? So it's practically brand new for me. So hopefully this will continue to be just as entertaining the second time as it was the first time. Because like I said, this one was pretty fun. And let's get oriented here. So down here in the south, we have the Russians, CEO of AoE 3. This is the map Manchuria. And I really like this map. This map's been around for a long time. It has, different ways to gather resources, essentially, right? Like you have the water. You have a trade line up here. You've got these cattle scattered all throughout the map. Even the natives, especially since they've had the Tengri, are really good. Looks like we have just Tengri on this spawn. Sometimes you can also get the I want to say Raton, but anyways, very good eco upgrades are available here. And this is an absolute wonderful matchup. This is a legacy civ matchup. I believe that even though Russia and Brits have gone up and down throughout the years, they essentially have a very intense Age 2 matchup if they're played standard, right? Now, because essentially, like, Russia, overall, while it does struggle in today's current meta, if the British players not do, like, a GMT build, Russia excels at containing civs, and Brits are a very food-intensive civ, and very vulnerable to being contained, right? Because they have all these villagers, so they have to be producing a lot of musketeers often, and hussar to counter. And on this map, even though there's lots of resource options, like, you actually have to fight. This is not necessarily a turtler's dream. Even on DE with its resource heavy, options and cattle, you really only have 1 to 2 safe hunts, right? You have usually these Marco Polo sheep, right? And so what this matchup is probably going to come down to is Russia's going to put a forward base somewhere here, and Brits are going to be under pressure to basically find a way to either go to Age 3 or overpower economically Russia, right? Russia's eco is scaling, but it's very slow compared to most civs. And so as long as the Brit player is able to get enough manners out, send villager shipments, and keep all of his villagers on hunts, he will overtake Russia very quickly and be able to absolutely just bully him in Age 2. Unless the game goes on very long in Age 2. So a lot of these kind of classic matchups come down to just a few fights that start to snowball out of control. They're usually based around a forward base or, a push, right? Trying to keep the Brit player idled and contained away from natural resources. So with all that talk, let's look at maps really fast since they're getting ready to age up, or sorry, not map, but decks. Pretty standard Russia. We do have a Porterchuk card. Polk. Porterchuks, I actually think they're the reworked Talbos for Russia. It's almost like a nerf because you lose the Shadow Tech to Age 3. But they are good if you have enough time. Tsar Cannons, right, give you an Imperial Bombard. Gotta love it. And Sovna. So, and of course, most importantly, the Russian-American company, one of the last patch updates we'll ever get, that really did help Russia with some Age 3 stabilization. Brits, dead standard deck. I would say the 3 rockets instead of the 2. 20 longbows. Interesting. Sometimes you see that now with Church Guard for the range attack. But otherwise, this is a completely standard Brit deck. And a completely standard Russia deck. And they're probably both... Here's here. Quartermaster, yep. 400 wood for Russia. And Governor, I'm guessing, for Brits. That is correct. So Brits, 17 vills. Oh, and here comes the forward base of Russia. I really like to. He's kind of straddling this native TP because you can almost use it like a wall, right? It's something that a lot of players, myself often in the moment, forget. Using the map to your maximum benefit. What are they doing? That's awesome. Anyways, it really can improve your gameplay significantly right off the bat. Good job here. You know, I'm gonna look at CEO's line of sight. So I think as a rush civ, right, you need to kind of be aware what your opponent's doing and making sure that Explorer's there. Ooh, getting some chip damage too. Another kind of fun thing about a year ago, they added Explorer differentiates and or ways to differentiate Explorers, and the siege attack of the rushing Explorer is higher, so I like this. Getting a little bit extra chip damage in. You know, 500 doesn't seem like much, but again, this is a game of inches, and the Russian player, after sending Distributism, is going for the classic 5 Cossack opening with 10 Strelet behind it. Very standard stuff. And the British player's opening Hussar. Again, Russia does have a pretty major weakness to Cav, so that stable's really far. I wonder if he's trying to be sneaky. Oh well, stick out fly sight, and here we go. 4 Huss into 5 Cossacks. Those Huss will be bodied. And right off the bat, yep, Huss are going into it. Ooh, he moved the Strelets right into melee. Good job for maximum damage. And those Cossacks they're getting bodied. Looks like, oh, yeah. I mean, the recruits are now in a little bit late, but oh man, he lost all the Cossacks. I mean, what else can you say about the weakness of Russia, right? As strong as this civ is, one of the reasons it struggles is because of its weakness in the Cav. We just lost 4 Huss, which is 800 resources. Defeat what? 350 plus, right off the top of my head, 700, so only, yeah, about 700, so about 1,000 resources to 800, with 3 Huss remaining. So anyways, though, let's focus on the action here. So this stable is a little bit too far forward. This is a problem, right? Because, again, Russia loses a lot of fights, but because their stuff's so cheap, even though I just mentioned it was like a 20% resource win there for the Brit player, Russia's stuff's 25% cheaper. Or sorry, 20% cheaper, so that's a net win. Or actually, sorry, 25% cheaper, 1-2% stat pressure. And alright, big fight here. Ooh, moving the Strelets into melee. I don't know if I agree with that move, because Strelets do much better into Musk. But the Ruskets here, again, not the best anti-cav, but doing the best they can, and I mean, this is a cleanup for Brits. So now all Brit really has to do, and this is where it gets scary to Russia, right? Because you'll win every battle but lose the game. You need to push this blockhouse, and you need to do it at the right time, right? Because I'm going to guess 13 Strel. Yep. So good instinct there by Kistan, right? I think something that a lot of players do against Russia is overextend. And they come... Oh, he's getting aggressive there. He's not going forward, is he? Ooh. Yep. Just playing a bit passive. Didn't want to get ahead of myself there again. You know, cast or curse, I'll say something, and of course, the player will do the opposite. But yeah, if he would have pushed that, even though he had numerical superiority, right? These Strelets would have came in, plus the tower damage, right? Would have probably turned it again. And against Russia, like, you need to have even cooler, bigger armor. So Strelets now pushing. Ooh, that hunt is so far out. That is dangerous. And the Brit player not panicking at all. Looks like, I'm going to guess he's got, what, his 10 bills? Yep. 10 bills in for, like, maximum efficiency, trading longbows. These 2 Huss still getting the work done. Kid, he lost that stable, and that's just absolutely massive. I think if he still has a stable, he is probably going to feel a lot more confident because he's going to be able to train Hussar, right? But at this point, I think he's content just to kind of trade blows here with Russia. Russia takes down the tower. Don't know if that was the best trade for Russia. You know, again, he didn't really damage any of the economy. He did idle the villagers, right? But Brits at 31, Russia's at 26. You know, and Brits haven't even really fully flexed yet. Therefore, Vill shipment, or really gone that heavy into manor, so really overgathered on coin though. anyways. So at this point, yep, Russia now. Looks like they added a stable. God, and another blockhouse. Okay, so this is where the containment's going to start happening, right? Again, the Brit player played a little passive. It's not really in danger, but he's going to have to figure out either how to go to age 3, which is what I'm guessing he's trying to do based on the macro here, right? Because he's very heavy into coin. He knows he's on a timer, right? Because that Russian military mass is getting big fast. 9 Cossacks now, 15 Musketeers, few remaining Strelets, and oh, he is going for the Vils. This is where this map gets so dangerous. This is the contained, so to speak, right? Because at this point, Brits can't really go too far from home. I mean, the Russian army can't push this. But it can push up here. Man, again, if he had a stable... Oh, okay, there's the stable now. For Kistan. Oh, but he's aging up, so he really can't push Hussar, so... Perhaps he's going to go for Dragoon in age 3, but... I don't know, we'll just have to see what he decides to do. And, I mean, look at that. The scores are starting to close, and Brit kind of overscores. Mohawk statements coming in for Brits. That's the old school Tomahawks. Really cool agent. God, it's a lot of Cossacks. 12 Cossacks now for the Russians. Again, I mean, look at this fort. This is getting ugly. He's going to need cannons. So he needs to get 2 Falcons out, and he needs to keep him alive. And that's how he's going to, win this game. If he's able to do that and get Vet Musketeer before the Russian player is able to age, he's going to have a window to punish all this. But, I mean, this takes time, and that Russian army is getting scary. And good instincts, too. I really like... Oh, man. CEO doesn't even see it. Of course, Kistan wouldn't know that, but nonetheless, he's defending his resources. And I think it's so important. A lot of players will just kind of gamble that no one's going to go after their villagers. Kistan here has enough common sense or game sense to continue. And, oh, let's look down here. See if we got any... Okay, just skirmishing going on. And that Russian mass is getting big. So now... I don't even know if Brits can really challenge this. I mean, I don't know if this is a fight, yeah, you want to take. You need to get out. And he recalls all the Vils. Oh, goes back. Sending everyone to work. There are the Tomahawks. Like I said, they're the old school with the ranged multiplier. And, oh, sends 2 Falcons first. Okay. So... If you're Russia, you just saw your opponent age 3, you know you're kind of vulnerable. So I would imagine if Russia is just going to try to push and then probably try to back off. Or force a bad fight, right? Yeah, going for the houses. This can be a bit of a trap, I think, against a British player because manors are more expensive, but killing manors only nets them more Vils, plus they have extra HP, right? So it's not always the most efficient. But with that... Oh, Brits going for Vet Musketeer. Oh no, look where the Falcons. Oh no. Oh, Kistan, that is horrible. And I mean, CEO is right on top of it, the Russian player. And now, yeah, he's content just to shoot it out, right? Because he's like, alright, their Haymaker unit's dead. I need to thin this mass of age 3 units. Wow, is Russia going to win this? Okay. Hussar now finally coming in. And, I mean, I think this Russian army is going to die. If you watch this, I'm curious what your thoughts are. You keep charging the Strela into the melee against Musketeer because they do less damage and they have ranged armor. Anyways, these Ruskets, yeah, they're just going to tickle this Huss. And, okay. Just like that. I mean... The Brit player has successfully thinned the mass down. He's got age 3 units. Now he's got to figure out a way how to break this, right? Or maybe, like, lock the map down. Could build a dock. Sorry, guys. I'll try to keep on the action and not get too distracted. But, alright, he's going to push. And, I mean, great pop there by Russia. See, look at the Cossacks in. Fencing school, so he's really connected to the age 2, and yeah, the Brit player has to back off, even though his troops are far superior to the Russians right now. Ha! It works. Excellent. Anyways, what I was saying is, like, if you're Brit, you need to start locking down the map until you can get artillery foundries out, or just smash them with a huge ball of Huss. But yeah, Russia's sitting in age 2. Interesting macro there. You know, again, if you're Russia, you probably should be trying to go to age 3. But you know, he's got 38 villagers. Brit has 35. So again, that Russian eco, it's 15 minutes. And the Russian economy is really starting to kick in. Those faster trading villagers for cheaper. Plus, he's got the whole map, so he's a lot more safe. Ooh. And the Cossacks now. They are on top of the vills. Oh, God. There is no British army anywhere near. And again, all these resource villagers, they have nowhere to go. Oh, God. Alright, Huss now coming into the rescue. You know, but again, yeah, those are recruits. They're solid enough. And I think Brit just kind of has to accept that he's about to lose a lot of villagers. Oh, ooh. Those recruits not paying attention. They slide right on back. But okay, Brit is now taking the opportunity to try to break the squeeze. Already another blockhouse. 41 vills. I mean, look at that Russian mass. I mean, good instinct again from Kastan to take his opportunity and try to weaken kind of this like chokehold, but it's just getting worse, guys. I don't think it's going to get any easier. Oh, kills a few vills. Okay, and here's Brit. Oh, God, look at all those recruits. Going for Boyars. Building another blockhouse. And here we go. I mean, here's just the big fight. So age 3 units versus age 2. Age 1, technically. Get on the action there. And yeah, look at that. Look at the Russian mass. I mean, they're just rolling through it. Boyars came in. Next time we get a Cossack shipment, maybe we'll take a look. But yeah, Brits have to run away. I mean, this is the power of Russia. Yes, all their units individually are pretty lackluster. But when you have these blockhouses, you have Strelos, you have recruits, you have your Cossacks. You're just grinding down. The thing is, the Brit player, he can't expand. He is out of hunts, basically, at this point. He's been raided because he's had to go out on the map without being able to secure things. And yeah, 28 vills. No access to hunts. Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Like, looks like the Brit player's going to do a last hurrah with some Falcons. Finally getting the artillery foundry down. I think his only hope to get back into this game is to somehow take a good fight and with like 1 or 2, maybe even 3 Falconets, rip all of this down and then try to boom back. So yeah, send villager cards or, you know, build trade posts, just something. All right. Oh, here, Moreville spotted now. Oh. You saw it. I mean, what are you gonna do? Like, there's no other easy resources except for what? Coin and wood. 27 vills of the Brits. He's just completely out of food. So yeah, we're about to see, I think, a last hurrah. Oh, trying to play peekaboo with those vills. But good, Strelitz are 4.5 speed. I mean, people really underestimate fast skirms, I think, at times. Especially if you play like modes like Treaty.
Yes.
Oh god. No. Not full in CEO, just like that. Those vills are toast. Oh, the thing is too, it's his Explorer. So even though Kastan has all these Falcons, there's a good chance CEO knows about it if he's paying attention. But more vills go down. 24 vills now to 42. And yeah, I mean, at this point, if you're Russia, you gotta be feeling pretty secure. Like, yeah, I was about to say, I put a blockhouse. Perfect. God, CEO really showing a lot of control, like map control, and locking down the map. Because at this point, if you're Brits, like, yeah, the scores are about even, but you are just totally in chokehold right now. You know, Falcons now coming out, and again, 3 Falcons. Yep. that is a not insignificant number. So I'm gonna guess probably gonna go back to getting Cossacks in mass. He did send newer infantry, so these recruits are not the worst. And all right, here we go. Oh, charging him into melee. Love to see it. All right, here we go, boys. Here's the big fight. God, look at that. Just thinning out the herd, but it is not enough. Cossacks now coming in. And, wow. It just was not enough. GG being called, and oh man, there we go. All right, second time I've seen this, I loved it just as much. God, that was a fun one. So first off, props to both these players. I want to point out again, I know Brits are kind of rated high right now, but this is a classic map or matchup played classically, and so therefore it really came down to player skill. And like I said, small mistakes snowballed out of control. I would say first off, you know, again, Kastan, if you watch this, I thought you played pretty clean and you tried to get back into this. And as we know, if you play it classically, this is a tough matchup for Brits. So I think the stable was a bit too far out, which once your stable went down, it really reduced your ability to make Hussar, which of course is very potent into Russia, right? And without that tempo, without that kind of hammer unit, Russia could recruit in Cossacks earlier. Cossacks are very efficient cav. I mean, again, these things are pretty darn good. But it takes time for Russia to mass it, but he was able to get that time by taking down the stable, taking some good fights, and I think the deciding moment was the Falcons popping right here. I mean, just bad luck. You know, if those Falcons pop over here with the Minutemen and everything else, I think we definitely still have a game. So kudos to both. Again, CEO played this clinical. He was able to push, he was able to keep an eye on the map, lots of raiding and idling of British villagers over here, and continued to just squeeze and put Brits into a vice. You know, again, neither player really going for the water, and even though it's just a 20-minute game, I think it's worth it because both these civs are extremely food intensive. But that's really my only critique. It's not really a critique, it's a preference, because at the end of the day, these guys focused on the land war, the land war in Asia, and versus Russia. We know how that goes, right? So with that, let's look at some of the post games. Getting resources. Yep, the power of Brits. Let's look at villager counts. And yeah, I mean, Brits had the advantage all the way to about here, but then, I mean, oh, that raid just sealed the deal, you know. And again, instead he wins the race. Yeah, some great fights there by Brits, but I mean, Russia just remassed right back, and then right here around with the Age 3 fight. Again, did Russia lose everything? Sure, but Brits lost what they needed to break out of the chokehold, and from there, it just snowballed out of control. Yep. Classic matchup. Down to player skill, micro and little things, like charging in units into melee, Falcons being caught out in the open. I mean, this is fun, man. This is what I love about Age of Empires 3. I mean, at the end of the day, we know that support for the game is crawled or is completely cut off, but if we can keep getting games like this, I'll keep coming back. So if you made it this far, make sure to like and subscribe. Again, we love all the support we've been getting lately, and let me know what you thought about this game. And you know, it's been a while since I've been casting too, so as always, I always keep an eye out for feedback, ways to improve. And you know, if you like what you see, I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one.